Hey! Hey!
Yo!
We're going to get back to them greetings there in a second.
Yo!
The funny thing is that all you understand exactly where I was coming from.
Uh-huh.
Hey!
Uh-huh.
And some say, yo! And everybody laugh. You know why? We have a song say what? All that we is?
One family.
All right. All that we is one family. We have this unspoken tongue, this unspoken language that we just understand.
That's right.
You know, Sade, even though she from another generation, she might just sit down there and say, mm-hmm. And I know what she mean. You know why? Because I know she learned that from Sam. Good night, Mr. Brian. Good night. Good night. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to wait for a couple more people to come into the chat. No, we're not going to wait, but we're going to talk a little bit. So, Sade, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Good.
Good.
It's been a long day, you know, but pulling through.
Okay.
To construction people in the backyard. They're just digging. I don't know why, but
somebody's in the backyard.
No, not right now. No.
Oh.
This morning I woke up. Dog is going crazy. There's construction people in the back just digging. Don't know what they're doing. They're building something. So I had to work all day with that in the background. But they're going now.
You sure they weren't digging up anything that the dog buried and he didn't want he didn't want the truth to come out? That's why he was rebelling?
That's a good question. I don't know. He's been acting a little suspicious lately.
Next thing is the neighbor rabbit or something they end up digging out.
Or the neighbor's dog.
The dog that they thought ran away. Your dog might be responsible. Anyway, so what we're going to do as we anticipate Dr. Judith's arrival any second now.
Yeah.
What we are going to do is, as I like to say, Sam.
Yeah, man.
Run the thing.
Run it. Let me run it.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Come check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cup from Music by Tom Cups. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Thank you.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you. You know something, Sam?
Yes,
when
sir.
I first heard that commercial, that guy voice used to grate me so much. I'm a hybrid executive, just like you. And you know now is the favorite part of the commercial that I wait to hear.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
If I can't remember anything else about the commercial, that's what I remember. Just like you.
Where do I point?
You
Straight
was
ahead, straight ahead.
first, then you just went left. I don't know. Which
So tonight, we want to talk about, how could I put it? Some of those core values. Are they core values or core linguistics that make us unique? That common tongue that we have, that common tongue that we share, that somehow help us to understand and embrace each other. I remember a story told by Richard Pryor more than 30 years ago when he spoke about a mind-blowing trip that he took to the motherland. He told a tale about an African brother asking him what language he spoke back home in America. To which he replied, English. The African brother was a bit dismayed and he once again asked him, at home, what language Black Americans speak? Richard once again replied, English. The African brother said, no, you don't understand. I know everyone speaks English, but what language do your people speak in the home at family gatherings? And it wasn't until that very moment Richard realized just how much we as a people were removed from our roots. Over the past few hundred years, we as a people have reached out, grasping at any expression of African culture that we somehow feel connected to. We've even created our own holidays so that we can have some form of celebration when we, that we could call our own. In recent past, we've been referred to as niggers, Negroes, colored, Black, Afro, and African American. And with every change or shift in consciousness, we've created music and fashion and dance and language as we ushered in every new era. Every single thing that I mentioned it wasn't always greeted with open arms. I remember several years ago with the emergence of rap music, or should I say hip-hop music. The generation before despised it. And they said it was only a fad. There's absolutely no way that it would survive. Here we are, 40 plus years later. And not only has it been accepted by subsequent generations, it has crossed the color barrier. And other cultures are now influenced by not only the music, but the fashion and the dance, as well as the language. Even though I was a teenager at the advent of hip-hop music, today, let me tell you all something. I must admit that sometimes I have absolutely no idea what this young generation talking about.
We can help you. We can help you.
How so? How?
Because they've thought of everything. They've tried to break it down for us, for the older folks who we don't quite understand. They try to break it down for us. Like I'm in sort of like in the generation X, they say. Then Sade, her dad, Mr. Sam right there would be like a millennial. Sade now, let me see. Sammy. Generation Z. I think that's where you are, I believe. Or
I'm on the cusp, baby. I'm not sure. I'm right on the cusp. I can identify with both.
On the bridge. Ready to go over.
Hold on, on the cusp of you're losing me. Hold on.
In so many different categories. You feel me?
I'm slow here. So for somebody like myself, okay, I have no qualms about my age. I'm approaching 60. Which one of these? I know I'm not a millennial. That much I know.
You're not a millennial, boy. You're not a Generation X. You're gone in. They have Boomer 1, Boomer 2, you're Boomer 2, bar. Boomer 2.
I was going to say, what year were you born?
We had to go there, Shadi.
That's how you know what generation you is.
You said you had no problem, so go there, yo.
Yeah, I had no problem telling it, but I didn't mean she had to ask me.
Yeah, man, she can't ask. She's part of the panel.
So,
answer.
What I also want to throw in the pot is that there was some that I missed. I missed. Yeah, well, maybe somebody.
What about the hippies?
Wait, let me show you. Let me show you the one I missed. It's real interesting.
What you miss?
You wanna be starting something. You wanna be starting something.
If you wanna be starting something.
Then he goes. Listen to the way he goes.
Man, go right, man. If you swing it, man. Swing it.
No, this is the part where he goes here. You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. I never understood what he meant when he said you're a vegetable. So if anyone understood that, please bring it in the chat. Google it. When Michael Jackson says in the song, you're a vegetable. That one just went over my head.
Listen, there is you are an artist and there is artistic license. Michael got away with a great deal. When Michael came out with what was that damn song again? Jesus have mercy. It went out of my mind just three lines repeated about 100 times. Cause I'm bad. I'm bad.
All right, stop singing the song. We don't want no copyright infringement. We don't.
But if we get copyright for that,
could mention the lyrics
and got international acclaim for it. 3 words throughout the whole song.
Which
Come
one?
on, man.
Beat it?
Beat it.
Beat it?
Beat it. Beat it. Either one.
You know, and I was so excited to sing. We were to get her to sing something one night.
Poetic license.
I
Oh,
never understood or liked. I never gravitated towards that song. With Michael in a studded leather suit talking about he's bad. There was nothing bad about him except the way he looked in that outfit. I don't care how many Michael Jackson fans we have. I'm saying it. I never identified with that.
Are you a hater? You're a hater.
But do you remember? I believe it was James Earl Jones on an award show. Oh gosh, it's probably about 20 something years, 30 years ago. And he literally stood at the podium and recited the lyrics to Beat It. And because he is such a classically trained actor,
he said
the people in the audience were like, well, damn, he sort of made it sound good. He kind of made it sound good, but damn, there are no lyrics in this song.
Trini Girl said she completely agreed with me that I guess that she couldn't identify with Michael Jackson somehow. She couldn't identify with him and that song because there was nothing bad about him. In my opinion, the only thing bad was the song.
Beat It and Bad just had nothing quality-wise lyrically. I listen to lyrics. I love good, solid lyrics, and those 2 songs had nothing, other than a really great beat,
Well, he did start the song with a saying, he started the song with a saying, which I wouldn't really say on the show. But there's a phrase, we'll be talking about this stuff tonight. And he did start that bad, so the song I'm bad with a phrase. More like what a parent will tell your child, you got on bad, and your parent says to you, your butt is mine, later on.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you on that one.
So,
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Shade, I missed something a little earlier on. You spoke about being on the cusp. On the cusp of what generation? What generation these lists that Karin was speaking about just now? What category do you fall in?
So technically, it depends on what site you look it up on. But most sites say that I'm considered Gen Z, the beginning of Gen Z. I'm born in 97. But some sites say that, millennial goes all the way to 97, and then Gen Z starts at like 98. So I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather be considered a millennial, but
which one do you want to claim? Claim. Which one do you want to claim? Do you care?
I want to claim millennial, to be honest, but they're gonna be like, "You a little too young for everything." It don't matter. I was still there. So, but yeah, I'm on the cusp because I've experienced, the coming of the internet, you know, when the computer didn't have no internet and you just had paint and paintball on the computer. You didn't really have no like internet. Like I experienced dial-up. Fax machines are still a thing. It's just like I've been through the whole technological wave, so it's just like. But then I don't really identify.
I have one
like,
for you.
Wait a minute. You experienced the dial-up?
I have one for you. I have one for you, Sade.
Yes.
Did you use the encyclopedia?
Yes. We were my class was the last class to learn how to write in cursive in school. Kids don't learn how to write in cursive in school.
Well, what do you think about that? Because here in Broward County, Florida, it's not taught, and it hasn't. They stopped some years ago.
What, cursive?
What do you think about it not being taught?
I think it is a lost art, and also it needs to be taught still. Because at the very least, we learned how to write properly. Because I just recently left the job at the prison, and like the guys, they're so sweet to me. They made me cards. Some of them have really nice handwriting, and I can read it. Others, I can't read a thing. It's like I'm reading my fifth grader stuff, especially the young ones.
But you know, there's an app for that. There's an app for the cursive. So if they really wanted you to be able to read it, they would have done that.
Listen, my son Joshua actually looked at a book that I was writing in, and he said, "Daddy, he did like this? He said, what's all of that?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "It looks something like this." He said, What's all of that?" What do you mean? What's all of that? I said, that's writing words. And he stood there with his mouth open. I said, "You mean to tell me you can't understand this? What word is this?"
My classmates couldn't understand cursive or my handwriting. Like when they'd be like, "Yo, Sade, can I see your work?" And I pass it over, and they're like, "Actually, never mind. I can't read that."
I wanted to ask you, Sade. You said something about the phone. Do you know the rotary phone?
Yes.
Can you use the rotary phone?
There is this well-known.
It's gonna take me minutes to remember, but when I was younger, yes.
Well, there's this well-known TikTok. I think it's TikTok. I could be wrong. Video on two guys, your age range, white guys.
They were like, "How do you?"
Here's a phone.
How do you make a call?
Make a call. Yo, even when I was younger, I used to look at the phone like, "Oh God damn it!" If it had Murray Hill in it, you know, you had to do an alternate key or something. Never got it. I couldn't grasp it. But these two young guys in their 20s looking at this phone like,
it took them over 5 minutes.
Literally,
they weren't able to dial.
Hilarious.
They could not dial the number.
Hilarious.
They gave them a phone number
out there.
Dial it, and they couldn't.
There was a TikTok trend where parents would have their children. They would all be like different. They'd be like same generation, kind of, but different ages. Mm-hmm. So you'd have one who's my age, who's like mid-20s. Maybe they'll have like a slightly older one that's like in their 30s, and then a really young one who's like maybe 10 or 5 or a baby. Mm-hmm. And you ask each of them to pretend that you're on the phone. Use your hand to pretend that you're on the phone. Myself and the older one, they'll be like this, right? But the baby will be like this.
For real, cell phone.
Or take a picture. So myself would be like this. The baby would go like this.
Hi, Denise.
Good night, Denise.
Okay.
No, it's a real thing. But the two guys, basically almost grown men.
The older people would do this too.
Yeah.
It's better than doing this, though.
Yeah. Sam.
I don't know that one, but I know of it.
Sam, you know this one. Sam,
you don't know the two-piece one. That's from the movies, but that was
even this Sam.
Real.
This in itself is a sentence. That's a sentence, right?
Yeah.
Would you understand that? Well, no, Sade said you do understand. But do you think some of your generation or younger ones, if someone looked at them and said, would they understand that?
No. I'm even still trying to think. Are you trying to say like get on the phone? Like
no.
Call me,
silly rabbit.
Call me. Yeah.
Call me. That was a call me. Now it's just like hold up the phone, right? I mean, your peers would just hold up the phone.
That was our emoji back in the day.
Or you write your number on a piece of paper, you slide it to a girl, and then she look at you and you right?
Now that I've gotten before, like the little shake.
If she want to call it, she stick that number in her pocket. Now if she fold it up and she throw it away, you better write another number for somebody else because it's a wrap. So now that Sam used that term there, do you have any comprehension of that, Shadi?
Wait, which that's a wrap?
Yeah,
it's a wrap. It's done. That's the chalk.
It's done. So that one have bled over into subsequent generations. It's a wrap.
Yeah, like we get it, but then we'll have our own little way of saying it. Like how I said that's chalk, like it's over. It's done.
It's hold on. Don't talk too fast. I have to write that one down. It's what?
It's chalked.
Chalk, so, like chalk?
Chalked, like chalk, like chalk that you write with. That's chalked. It's done. Now a lot of the stuff that I will say is also regional. So my stuff is very true. Like northeastern stuff from Philly, especially New York or Jersey, Delaware. We don't have our own slang, to be honest. We just fight off everybody else. But like a lot of the slang that we use is from New York. New York slang is getting very popular amongst like our generation and just going into the mainstream. Like a lot of things that you'll hear nowadays, it originated in New York.
It's a New York.
It's a New York thing, and New Yorkers are getting upset because like y'all are biting our style. Like y'all, why?
At least you're all communicating. Heavens.
Back in the 70s, this was in the 80s. When somebody says something in agreement with somebody else, we say word.
Yeah, word.
Did that one leak over in any way, or do you have any understanding of that, Shadi?
We understand it. I would say, especially from like movies, like in the early 2000s stuff, they would still say word in the early 2000s, but nowadays, maybe bet.
And we use word in different ways. So something just happened, you say
word.
Word?
Yeah, you have to have that facial thing too going. Word.
The facial expressions still translate over. It's just the word changes, the dialect changes. But we might be like, for real, or you lying? Like that.
Oh, so they.
Well, it went from word up.
Now we ain't use word up. I know Word Up Magazine, but we ain't use Word Up. I have bought Word Up Magazine actually.
You know Word Up Magazine, or you know about Word Up from Biggie, or you know it from Biggie's song.
They stopped.
No, I said, do you know about Word Up Magazine, or you know it from Biggie talking about it in the song?
Well, the first time I heard about it was in the song, but Dad remembers my mindless behavior phase. They actually were on the covers of some Word Up magazines when they still had them in the store, so I would buy them. And that was when I was a teenager. That was in my early teens.
Yeah,
I haven't seen them since.
Behavior fan. Yeah.
So like I would get the Word Up magazines. I would just take all the pictures, all the posters, and put them all up in my room. I would cut out the pictures from the magazine and slide them into my binder.
She was the unofficial club, mindless behavior club. What were you? A club associate, the club leader, a fan club?
We didn't have like fan clubs. We made fan pages. So I ran a few fan pages in my day. I ran a few. They still have
this young talk about in my day. Stop it.
So you see, so for example, right, when I was growing up, there were certain things you would ask the parents, right? If you have both parents in your house, there's some things you'll have to get certain permission you'll get from your father, and there'll be certain permission you'll get from your mother. So let's say that you speak to your mother first, but then your mother says, well, you got to talk to the big man. Or talk to the old man. Right? So now you're going to talk to the old man. And when you come back, your queen say, mm-hmm. And if he said yes, you respond, mm-hmm. If she said, mm-hmm, and you said, mm-mm. Now, you would be doing that, mm-hmm. Like you'll have a whole conversation with it. You remember that? all that experience?
Oh yeah,
that's
straight up a Trinity.
Not that exact experience,
I wanna know.
but just the ways that we inflect our voice to communicate. Because there's a vast difference between or like there's two different things.
Yeah, with a smirk.
When something good is said.
When did the word shorty? This is for you, Shannon. When did the word shorty go from being the girlfriend or the child to becoming the girlfriend? I don't know when the transition took place. I just remember feeling like, oh, he's not talking about his child. He's talking about he's not talking about his girl. He's talking about
shorty meant children.
He's not talking about his kid. He's talking
shorty.
About
shorty.
Yeah, it changed. It completely changed.
That might have been
went from child to girl
when I was like too young to really understand.
But the spelling
I've only ever known shorty as like
the spelling.
Oh, the spelling.
Shorty, SHORTY was the little ragamuffins there. If you're talking about your girl, that's SHAWTY. That's my shorty.
Cool,
yeah, that's my shorty. Or like if you're trying to call the girl down the street. If you try to call the girl down the street, then you'd be like, "Hey, yo, shorty, miss." Da, 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 da. And sometimes, because my name, I be hearing like it sounds so similar to my name. I'll be like, "Is someone calling me?" And they be like, "She answered. Go for it. I'm just like, "Oh my god, I don't know you." Oh my, here we go. But then also, fun fact: when I came back to the States in 7th grade. And people started learning my name. Who's saying that? Sean Kingston got really big. And then I think it was also like some guy named Ayaz or something. But basically the word shorty was used a lot in songs. So when the guys that realized what my name was, they would mess with me. They'd be like, shorty, like a melody in my head. And I'd just be looking like, oh my God. Why? But like they were just doing it just to be clowns. Like they would just yeah.
So I have a question, right? In my days, the respectable nickname for your parent, I just used it. Your father was the old man, and your mother was the queen. That's how we just, hey, your queen home, the old man home, right? We said that. So your generation, Shadi, what is the terms you would use for someone's parent?
You sure you want to hear it?
It depends on what region you're in. So people who really have nicknames for their parents would probably be from down south, and that would still be like the old lady or pops or something like that. But even then, or even still, like old lady in the south could also mean like your significant other. Like that's my old lady.
It's a Florida thing.
But we don't really have nicknames. It really just could be like mom, dad, mommy or daddy. If that's a girl and they still call them mommy and daddy, like as they're older. Yeah, we don't really have like nicknames or anything anymore.
But would you have a problem with, let's say, your boyfriend referring to you as that's my old lady?
I would look at him like, since when did you become Southern? But I wouldn't really have a problem with it, like, because I'm like 3 months older than him, and in the beginning of the relationship, he was already calling me cougar because I'm 3 months older than him. We've been friends since 7th grade, so he loves to mess with me. So he was calling me cougar.
Really?
3 months?
3 months. Oh my God.
3 months.
Even if it was 3 years, it's not. That doesn't even qualify.
I told him, but no, he put up the Google definition, and according to Google, he says that he's right. So it's whatever. But I really would not care. I would not take offense to it. I'll just be like, when did you become Southern? But okay.
Yes, somebody was asking the question before in terms of the male definition, and I think, well, in my time we used to say cradle robber. A cradle robber. It seems as though you snatch this young thing straight out of the cradle. So men were referred to as cradle robbers.
I think
it's the women. It's the women who've gotten the cougar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think later on they started calling women the same thing.
Cradle robber.
Yeah. If the guy.
I'm used to cougar. I guess it's been around for a while. I'm sort of used to cougar.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them referring to women as cradle robbers. For the men, even though they may be broke, they just get referred to as sugar daddy. And cradle robber now can sometimes be more referred to as somebody who's like they actually like children. So because on certain like social media platforms, you get censored if you say certain things. So then you just go around it, and then they decided, okay, well, cradle robber could be one, or spelling pedophile in like a really weird way that could get at the way. So
interesting.
Yeah, we don't refer to people who like younger women as cradle robbers. I haven't heard that. I've only heard that in like books or TV, but never in actual like real life.
Okay, you mentioned something a minute ago. You said sugar daddy. Is that that name still transcend?
It does
through the generations.
Yep, to the point where there are now websites where you can find a sugar daddy or you can find a sugar baby.
Hold on. Where do I find it?
The other thing is this: the sugar daddy has variations. So,
how so?
Well, I've heard people use the term Santa Claus.
Never heard that.
Yeah, Santa Claus or Robin. They may say he's a Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood?
Santa Claus.
I have not heard either.
Or let's say, for example, a young couple is getting married and the father isn't really planning to help financially. He may say, I am not Santa Claus in this case. You know, meaning that, because Santa Claus is, you get gifts and so he's like, oh, they them think I Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, I remember that from growing up. Yeah.
Right. So Sugar Daddy, Santa Claus, Robin Hood, they kind of, depending on, again, it might be a geographic thing, Shadi. Whatever,
Maybe that one, because I ain't heard of Santa Claus or Robin Hood.
Sugar Daddy could just be like, these people think I Santa Claus.
I've heard you say it, but I ain't heard nobody else say it.
That would be used most times if a man happened to be dating a woman with children. And somehow, every time you come over, they're like little birdies, they're just looking for something. Every time you come over, they expect you to be bearing gifts. So you say, wait a minute, I look like Santa Claus. Every time I show up, I'm supposed to be bearing gifts? No, not at all. Something that hit me in this was in the early 90s. Right in Brooklyn, corner of Avenue Ditmas and Flatbush. I'm coming along the corner, and this young man stepped out, talking to somebody, coming out the store, and stepped on my shoe. And he turned on to me and he said, oh, my bad, and he kept walking. I said, bro, hey, what happened? You step on my foot and you just walk off and you ain't say nothing.
He said, my bad.
Yes, I said, my bad. I'm like, bro, say excuse me, sorry, something.
That is my bad.
He said, I said, my bad. I'm like, my bad.
Catch up, man, catch up.
No.
My bad. Sorry.
I was livid because the young brother looked me square off in my face and did not speak in a language that I understood. What the hell you mean? And to me, it sounded like he said, my back. So I'm like, your back? What the hell you mean your back? What? And he kept saying it. I said, my back. I'm like, what the hell? You know what? Yo, go on.
So did y'all have the response, you good to my bad, or is that a new thing?
Is there what?
So did y'all have the response, you good, when someone says my bad, or is that a new thing?
No, I've been saying that for a minute. I've been saying you good. I still do.
Okay, all right. Because I was just making sure. Because I'm just like, well, when someone says, "Oh, my bad," just be like, "You good?" So.
Old woman alone, we take it home.
I don't know what that means. Explain that to me, please. I don't know what that means. That is a regional thing.
I feel like that means I ain't getting tricked by no children. I ain't getting caught up. I'm gonna take you home if you old, and I know your age. That's what that means to me. I don't even know that song.
No, but the Old Woman Alone, that's come from a song from a Grenadian artist called Tall Prey.
Okay.
And he was actually singing about like the dollar van drivers or something, the minibus drivers. And I can't remember what was the reason, but what he was stating in the song, that was Old Woman Alone, he's taking home. For whatever reason, in that situation, he said Old Woman Alone are taken home. But, of course, in the Calypso world, you know, the meaning of the song changed. It was like, yeah, you're only looking for old thing tonight. I ain't able with all the young girls. Old woman alone are taking home. Because in most cases, I'll use the term loosely, old woman have their together. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of, you know, they don't need no Santa Claus. Their children already grown, so you don't have to worry about a bunch of children in the house when you reach over there crying all night. You sit down till 3 in the morning to get. So it's like old woman who have everything together, and that's all these people interested in, and not no young girls with 6, 7 children balling down the place when they. So, yeah.
Let me
try.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, it's Shadi. You understand? Yeah.
I understand.
Yes,
you understand?
I'm the one who didn't get it. I'm the one who didn't get it.
It's a little bit different from my understanding, but I understand.
Okay.
I understood this phrase when I was almost 20. The phrase was "make haste." What the? When is do they say "make haste" in Jamaica, Karin?
I understand it. I'm not even quite certain if I learned it here because I came here young, or if I just knew it beforehand. But I certainly understand it. Don't be idle with your life. Get your priorities straight and get your goals accomplished, and get your life on a certain path. That's what I understand it to mean.
Okay.
I learned it in my house growing up, but all my younger life, I used to say "make haste."
Well, that's
Make what?
Make haste.
Make haste.
Join it. Yeah, they will join us.
Yeah, it wasn't until later on in life I realized what the saying actually was. Make.
Also, you had that problem too?
Yeah, I used to say make haste.
So if you're moving too slow, that's a make haste now.
Make haste. Yeah, make haste.
We gotta go. Make haste.
I understand it on that level also, but when Jamaicans say, I guess if it's a more serious conversation, I understand it on that level too. To get on with it,
But it makes sense to me when my dad said it in a phrase. He said, "Make haste while night is day." It's like,
stop it, Daddy. Daddy, don't do it.
That's where it came from.
So, do you have any understanding of that, Shadi?
But I
want to look at the rest of the phrase. While night is day, I'm so confused.
No, the make haste. Make haste.
Yes, I understand that. I get that.
But
it means use your time wisely.
Well, you see, I've never heard the other part of that you just mentioned.
Yeah, that is
to me. Either physically, in the moment, or long-term planning. Don't waste your time. Focus.
Right.
Get your goals straight. So, now, Shade,
the
human face has about somewhere around 42, 43 facial muscles. How many emojis are dedicated to facial gestures? About 100,000. Oh God,
not even that many, but I don't know.
No, man,
not enough because they still be adding more.
No, honestly, don't add any more.
My generation, they will, if we don't have an emoji that accurately describes what a face we're making, this is like, I would say more specifically for Black people because we got a lot of faces. We will go on Photoshop different elements of different emojis together and just turn it into a picture. And then that picture just goes viral in our little, Black community on Twitter,
Hi,
wherever it
Rachel.
is. And we all save the picture. We just all know how to use it.
Oh, that's how so it starts there, and then after a while, it starts looking vanilla or yellow or
You mean
something.
that all that effort?
Too many screenshots
to get an
or something, or
emoji
somebody
to express
screenshot from like their
that's
end
like
or something.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a whole.
let me see if I can
Go
find
ahead,
one.
go ahead, Karen. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, Sam. That's all right.
So right, but Sade, your generation. I just want to go back to the May case because what I wanted to find out was, if you guys, or like for example, Carol says here in the chat, make haste while the sun shines. So I've seen that one too. Or that one was said a lot as well. What would your generation say in to
an equivalent phrase? Do you have an equivalent phrase?
Hurry the hell up.
Man, hurry up. Like that's basically it. I've heard that phrase before, but
that's
only
like kiss it.
From, like,
keep it
only
simple.
when I was down in the Caribbean.
Real.
Did not hear that up here. Yeah, no. It really just be like, man, hurry up.
Kiss it. Kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid.
But I have an example of the Photoshop emoji. Hold on, let me see if it can. Oh, is it? Hold on.
Twist
it a little bit. Turn a little bit.
And what is your interpretation of that now?
Wait. There we go.
I can see it.
Yeah.
There we go. So see, you put the eyelashes on. You got the kissy face or the pouty lips. It's like.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Okay, so what's that one?
To go on Photoshop.
This one is like. Yep. So it's basically like
This is it, right? Like I'm this is it, or I'm the hottest thing in the room, or
no. How was
how to use it like in a situation, but attaching an actual phrase to it is kind of difficult. It's like attaching a phrase to like facial expressions. It's kind of hard. But it's like if you like say you hear a song in the club's like, all right, this is it. Come on, let's go. Or like,
this is my sugar honey iced tea.
Right here, yo.
This is my sugar honey iced tea. That's what you're saying.
Or maybe if your favorite song comes on or something, or your jam song. Oh,
but
okay.
It's specifically for girls because girls will do like.
Yeah.
Like this.
I've seen that one in other situations, So you were with him last night, and she like she going into the and that would explain all the details about the evening before.
Yep. Okay. Or if it's like we can have a conversation. If it's me and my girlfriend, be like, girl. It's just all girls.
Yeah.
So it's about 3 or 4 girls, right? Girl?
more than that.
All with a different tonality.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's similar to
for the people who are sort of on the border of your generation and the one that came before, and they're using all of these emojis. If they send that to me, there have been a few people who have done that, and I'd be like, I do not know what the hell you're saying. Not only don't I know, I don't care. And I'm serious. I'm not even trying to learn this thing. Whereas this gentleman right here, he has daughters that he has to communicate with. And it's an effective way of communicating. Me, I don't care. And I wish I did, but I really don't. And when they send 10 different emojis to express something to me, I'm like, phone call.
But Karin, what you have to understand, everything goes full circle.
Sure.
The emojis today are equivalent to the hieroglyphics of ancient Egypt.
Sure. It's language. It is language.
It just so happens that our generation, how you call us up here? What are we?
I would say you might be a boomer. You might be a boomer.
I ain't no blast.
But I already told you're a boomer too. I told you you're a boomer too. Accept it, man. Accept it.
Okay, so
I was born in 1962.
Boomer too.
Okay, so you're a baby boomer.
I ain't no blasted baby boomer. Baby boomers.
Hold on.
Baby boomers are the hippies, people from Vietnam War era. I am not that old.
Hello, you're on the tail end.
You're on the tail end, yeah.
Yeah, it stops at 1964. So 1946 to 1964 is the baby boomer generation.
That's how I love being attached to Gen Z. I don't go around eating crackers, but I'm Gen Z.
In a funny way, Curtis, you're just like Sade because she's born on 97, so she has a part of Generation Z and then part of the Millennials. So
Okay.
she's kind of
what's the generation after that? Since I'm born so close to the end.
Wait, close to the end of
the baby boomers.
Generation X.
Generation X.
And then
I'm gonna take that. That's some better than baby.
You can't take what you want, take but where
No,
you belong.
man, no.
That is where you belong.
Listen, baby.
You probably identify more with them anyways.
Generation X from 65 to 79. So if you're between 65 to 79, Generation X.
Yeah, I can talk about that.
You're not there. Thank you very much,
Lucy.
Tell him, ma. Tell him.
Lucy, all right. Listen, baby boomers, I've always seen as hippies, the tie-dye wearing, long hair, people from the 70s who just leave home and give up everything they have for no damn reason, go in the bush and smoke weed. That I cannot identify with the people who came home from the Vietnam War. No.
That's not the end all.
So you like
it was also musically amazing era. Musically, whoa, so productive.
I'm a child from the 70s. I'm a child of the 70s.
And art.
You know what I saw today?
What?
I saw a Volkswagen.
From the 70s?
A Volkswagen van.
Uh-huh.
That had to be at 1975.
Pretty color all over it?
No, they didn't paint it up and all of that, but it was in real good working condition.
You know what's real interesting? People my age want to go and live in vans.
Huh?
People my age are obsessed with van life, so going and living in vans, traveling the country, like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, that was
appealing.
Apparently so.
Well, that's a cyclic thing going on with the hippie
living in a van.
Yeah, what I've also noticed is that a lot of that generation, they are what I would refer to as minimalist.
Right.
Yeah. In our time, we needed this big apartment, large rooms, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This generation, for one, that I cannot identify with them not cook. They don't like to cook. Everything is order this and a $20 cup of coffee and this set of foolishness that they do. I cannot identify with that. They stop cooking. They want all these apartments now that are being built in New York. They have these little things and call that a bedroom. You can't even put a bed inside of there. They call that a bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for $2,000, $3,000 a month for a matchbox, a little closet.
We do like our tiny houses. I will say that.
What's the company that send you food in the mail and then you could just heat it up and it is a meal you have? Who is that again?
There's DoorDash, there's Uber Eats, there's if you want to make the meal, there's HelloFresh, there's Blue Apron.
I think it's HelloFresh.
Oh, well, you got to cook the meals for HelloFresh. But if you want it straight from the restaurant, you just heat it up. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, Grubhub.
Look at the audacity of this now. This is the millennial stuff, right? And these people bring your food and leave it on your cook food.
Yep.
And leave it on your doorstep and gone.
In our time, food on the floor or the ground.
Dirty.
That's dog
You're
food.
mad.
So I will say this. Before COVID, they had to hand it to you. Unless you specify leave it at the doorstep. Now, because of COVID, everything is at the doorstep and they got to take a picture of it.
They take a picture. Oh,
They
well,
take a picture, they send it to your
for proof
phone
of
to
delivery.
prove
Now,
that
I
they
wanted to
delivered it.
comment on the millennials and your generation Z of wanting to, as you said, being minimalist again, because based on what you guys have seen in the last 20 years, not you personally, but what has been happening governmentally and the structure, I can see why a lot of people would want to make the money, make that money, get that education, make the money, but not be part of the structure that is sort of damaging the world. So I sort of understand some of that.
I will say, because I'm definitely not a minimalist, but the people who do identify as such, they fall into like one or two categories. It's either they want to reduce their consumption in hopes of possibly saving the planet. That can only work if literally everybody does it, but okay. And then there's also the ones who have seen either like their parents or their family lose everything and say like the recession or something like that. So they have a fear of going through that again and losing everything. So then they have detached themselves from physical
the material
items because they don't want to get attached to that again.
I understand it. I do.
There is like a growing part though, especially I would say like maybe my age and younger, who consider themselves to be maximalists. So there are those who are minimalists and they try not to buy anything. They try to reduce their waste and make sure that all the garbage that they ever have can fit into a mason jar. But then there are those who are maximalists who some people will say we overconsume, like getting with the DoorDash and ordering things online all the time, like from Amazon, like every other week. Because those people just like having things and they always want the newest, latest thing, or they see something like, if y'all haven't noticed, trends just come and go like that now. Like trends used to stay, songs used to stay on the radio for like ever. Now they're there for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, now they're gone. Like
is that a trend? Is that a trend or is that just a fad? I wouldn't call that a trend.
But it would be interesting.
I understand what she means, though. I understand what she meant.
I get it too.
Like a song, you might have an artist may have a music, there's a style going on, and it just stays longer. Opposed to now. I mean, how long did the Dougie stay as something?
I don't even know what the Dougies is, and at some point I knew. It will be interesting to see, like, post the official end of whatever this COVID situation has been, the official end, to see how many people will be losing their homes, to see what that generation will be like, that Generation Z, how they will change to be. I think they will be more minimalist as well, to see their homes just go, because it will happen. It will happen.
I will say in regards to the hoarders, there are some people who are even my age who have like actually been diagnosed with a hoarding disorder, and they actually
form of OCD.
They document it on TikTok and they document their whole cleanup journey. And people go and encourage them and stuff like that, like in the comments and whatnot, but they document their entire cleanup journey. They won't show their face because they don't want to be seen like, listen, I'm not going to show my identity, but this is my room. This is how bad it's been. Like one girl, over the course of months, she documented like how long it took for her to actually clean through her entire room. And it took months.
What is the common thread with the older generation, meaning, let's say, when I say older, 40s to like say mid 60s, it's usually some tragic loss, some major personal loss. What is it? Because I haven't seen what you're describing. What is it with your generation? Why are they hoarding? What is the common thread amongst them?
Well, I know specifically for people who suffer through that, it's usually like some form of trauma, whether it's personal or whether it is
not so
I forget the word from it, but yeah, personal, like whether it's like they experienced it themselves or they seen it through their family, so it's like a generational type of thing.
And
like
that was their way to cope with the loss.
Will say, like, what'd you say?
That was their way to cope
Yeah, just hoarding onto things. Like if you watch the show Hoarders, people will say like, once I lost my husband, you know, I lost the desire to go out. I didn't want to lose anything again. I just decided to keep things and keep things and keep things. That might be
I've
the
seen
older
quite a few
people.
episodes of that.
Yeah.
Quite a
So
few.
I used
But
to binge
it's
that.
unusual in your age group. I thought
Yeah.
it was anyway. I thought it was like really not even found so much. One,
Well,
maybe a few outliers.
some people hoard because, like one person said, I hoarded because my mother did. So that's all I knew. That's how we coped.
Well,
with
that's
it.
a learned behavior.
That's a learned
I don't
behavior.
necessarily think that, you know.
So let me ask you something, Shadi. What is this incessant need for your generation to always seem to think that they have to put on a weave as opposed to their natural hair? There are some women I hear say that I ain't going out without my weave. To the point that some young women now they go to the mall with these how they call these bonnets thing on the head, and they have on a pajama pants and a bedroom slippers.
That ain't cute.
They
Not
look
at all.
tacky as hell.
Not at all.
Going to the mall. I do not
Now,
understand
going
that
to
type
the
of
mall in
what is this
Delaware
about?
is like going to the mall in Delaware is that's your going out. So I would never be caught dead in the mall in some bonnet and slippers because people in Delaware dress up to go to the mall. That's all we got. We got the mall, we got the skating rink and the beach. That's about it. So I will say it's definitely decreased in the amount of women who are just like, I need to wear my weave, or at least like in my generation, I've seen it. Like my generation, I was one of the first in my high school to go natural from being relaxed. So I never wore like weave, like sewing or anything like that. I might have had like braids or twists, but I was like one of the first girls in my high school to go natural. Everybody was either relaxed, they had sew-ins because sew-ins was big back then. Or they were already natural, but that was rare. If you were already natural, that meant you had like really loose ringlet curls, like, and even then.
Thank you for saying that and not saying good hair.
Yeah, no.
I would have snatched it. I would have snatched it.
But that's regional. Shade, that's regional.
What, the good hair?
No,
the good hair?
the practice of the weave versus the extensions versus the this. That's a regional thing. Because here in Florida, I promise you, highly profitable business. No matter if you're the salon, the retailer that sells the hair, the wholesaler that sells to the retailer, yeah, please, it's profitable.
I think my brain is automatically going to like having your hair relaxed instead, because that's actually what I should have said. But people are still wearing like wigs. Like wigs are big now. When I was in high school and I wanted to try out a wig because I saw Peak Mill on YouTube wear a wig, and I was like, that looks fire. I want to wear one because it looks awesome. I told my friend, she said, you're going to look like a church lady. Why you want to wear a wig for? Not everybody wear wigs. Okay. But.
But I was asking you when you decided to go natural, were you in high school or college?
I was in high school. By the time I was college, I was fully natural. But when I was in high school, I was transitioning from relaxer to natural. But to get back to why a lot of women wear wigs or weaves, I would say now for my generation, it's a lot of girls say that they just cannot handle their natural hair out. I would say that's because they don't know how to properly care for it. It took me a long time to figure out how to care for my natural hair.
Have you seen some of these girls on IG? How they manage their natural hair with just a little bit of cream, something, or a little gel, something. They make it look like wow. But the belief system is that you're still unattractive with your natural hair. If you look on IG, I'm telling you, weaves and wigs and what did Curtis say? Bonnets. I didn't even know that term. You know, with the curl, the baby hair looking thing built in. That's all over IG. I don't care what city you look in. That's all over. It's definitely a regional thing.
Bonnet is not like a head tie or like a cap.
No, a bonnet could be
like
a
scalp the human being and took
actual
everything.
like.
No. The bonnet is
anymore
like a shower cap.
Oh, the shower cap.
Yeah, I think like a shower.
It looks like a shower cap, but it's just satin.
Oh, I know the
That's
bonnet.
what it
I
is.
thought you were talking about the new style where it's the entire
So
scalp
there's
with the
style
hair.
called bonnet
What is
too.
that called?
The entire front, this.
The whole thing with the
That's
baby hair on it. What is that
so
called?
if it usually it would be a frontal. If it's not their hair, it is like from ear to ear. That is
Plus the
a
whole thing.
yeah. So it's a frontal. That's a wig. So it's a frontal. If they could put all of their hair up, more than likely it's a 360 lace wig. So it's lace all around. If they
But
can't put
what's
their
with the
hair,
scalp looking thing? What's with that?
oh, so yeah, the lace. That's why. So that's why everybody wears wigs now because of how natural, quote unquote, it can look because it looks like it's coming from your scalp without having any leave out. So a lot of girls now who are natural or who are going from relaxed to natural and they say, well, I can't manage my natural hair or whatever, I'm going to put it away under a wig. But I don't want the wig to look wiggy, so I'm going to put on a frontal or a closure. You know, I learned all this from YouTube University. I'm going to put on a frontal or a closure with the wig.
You don't want it to look wiggy.
You don't want the wig to look wiggy.
So
But
when
at what
I
cost,
wanted
though?
to wear wigs, most wigs looked wiggy, meaning your church lady wig that you wear with the hat, the grandma wig, where it's like you gotta wear it with the headband or it's super shiny or something. Like the wigs that Nicki Minaj and well the better wigs that Nicki Minaj, but the wigs that Beyonce wore, like those were really hard to find or really expensive. Now those wigs are becoming more commonplace and more affordable, even though they're still hundreds of dollars, but they will still buy them. So now that we have access to them, they're just eating it up. It's just let me put my hair away. And some people will, after they, wear all the wigs, they get their hair to a length that they like. That's another thing too. They want the length. They don't want their hair short. They don't want it to be the teeny weeny afro or the in-between stage. And I suffered through all of that. But with no wig or anything. But they don't want that. They just want the long hair. Like my hair was
to me
long at this point because it's natural, but it can be stretched out to be like mid back or so.
The newest thing here in Florida is the locks look, like below the buttocks, below the gluteal folds.
Yes, now
I don't know
everything.
how that came in, but the last couple of months is all over the place here locally.
It'll be so. For example, I'll stand up to show y'all if you don't know for reference. Well, I'm short, so of course it'll be much longer on me. But what she's talking about is a lot of girls my age will get braids or weaves, or faux locks. Before it used to be like, okay, mid back.
Yeah,
that's normal length, right? Mid back or so. Now it's past the knees. Some girls will have it down to their mid calf.
I don't get it.
Is so
overnight.
long.
Overnight.
I don't understand
what they call that now? That's what?
Faux locks.
Faux
locks. Some people will say fox locks, but it's faux locks.
I think it's cute.
How much that cost?
It's so long. It's so unrealistic.
It depends on the stylist that you go to. So I do it myself, and that will be maybe about like $30 or something, but just doing the hair.
Oh, they're not paying 30 cents.
One
for the
girl
hair?
in Philly. What'd you say?
Just for the hair, 30 something?
Yeah, if I'm doing it myself, because I buy Marley hair, it's like $5 a pack. Put in some big chunky twists, wrap the hair around, boom, I'm done.
There's something called Marley hair?
Yes. Oh my God, we could do a whole hair show. I have a girl in Philly though.
We might have to do a hair show, Karin. I mean, you might have write that down.
I can't. Hair shows are like sci-fi stuff. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Let me see if I could pull up her.
Is this stuff we have to drink for it?
Oh my goodness. This one girl who does faux locks.
250.
She charges, and her prices are actually like pretty cheap.
It's not cheap in Florida. I'm telling you.
For this girl in Philly, she's still reasonable, and this is hair included. If you want it bob length, so to your shoulder, $150. If you want it mid back, $175. If you want it waist length, $185. Yep, and this is all with
Carol Knight. One of our ladies in the chat says $250.
Mm-hmm.
So Shade, I don't know if this is big up on your side at all. But explain this one to me again. What is these things they have?
The lashes?
No, eyebrows, Shade, eyebrows. I'm sorry. What is that?
Is that big up on your side of town?
What is that?
Yes, the lashes are everywhere. There's a place down the street that does lash extensions. Yes. I don't know the appeal because it looks like you're gonna fly away.
Some of them cannot close their eyes. They cannot close their eyes.
Some of them cannot open their eyes.
They can't open their eyes.
Some of them can't open it.
They can't open their eyes.
Karen, they're like this. When somebody talking to them, they gotta do so. Huh?
I gotta see if I can find
the eyelids, it's too heavy. It don't raise up.
I always look at things from a more medical standpoint. Just like when people were about these colored lenses that could literally harm their cornea. But now with these lashes, do you know how much time it takes? And it's glued or whatever their technique. And eventually it's going to lead to eye infections, inflammation of the lid itself, like blepharitis, whatever. Anyway, all types of different eye infections. You have a normal bacteria that grows along the hairline, your lash line. And that's going to throw things off. That's going to create an imbalance. And I look at all of that, and people are not thinking. They're just thinking about the cosmetic enhancement that appeals to them. They're not thinking about what it could do to their health. And that has always bothered me. Every time I see the fad or the trend come in. And this has been around for a little while. So I guess it's going to be,
How they do it is they glue lashes on to each lash individually, one by one. If you have a bad lash tech, they will use hair glue. Don't do that. Please do not. The good ones, I don't know what they use, but I just know don't go to ones that use hair glue. I have heard horror stories of people's eyes being glued shut because during the entire process, it's hours and your eyes are closed for all that time. And they realize that.
You all remember the girl with the Gorilla Glue?
Gorilla Glue? Oh, gosh.
She put the Gorilla Glue in her head.
She's still trying to get money from people. She's talking about, yo, I just dyed my hair. I thought my hair could take it, and my hair is falling out. First of all, it's a trick because she picked up her hair looking like this, but the hair she picked up looked like mine. It was not her actual hair. She just trying to get money out of people again. Oh my goodness. She came up with a song finally months later. Everyone is just like, we're over you now. You got to find a new way to make money. Like literally, people are just like, "Why are you still trying to get money from us? We're not giving you money."
So, did she start a GoFundMe or people just?
She started a GoFundMe.
Why?
People donated to the GoFundMe.
Why?
I think like to pay for her surgery or something.
The first time around, she needed to do some sort of surgery.
It was a surgery. So there was that, and then when people realized like she's literally just not doing anything with this money but just spending it. She came out with the song like a few weeks ago. We're like, girl, this happened in January. You now coming out with a song? This almost a year later. You're done. It's over. The joke is over.
That song.
She came out with a song, not good. She tried to come up with some hair products. I don't know how well that went, but now she's trying to get more money again because she swear her hair is falling out. So people are just literally in the comments just like, no.
So as you say that no there, let me transition into something here. You all use a simple phrase, a simple word. We use it too, Sam, but these younger people have a different way of saying it. Nah.
No.
What's that about?
Yeah, that I don't know. If I hear someone say nah, it'll be like, why you say it like that? Like what? Why you say it like nah?
How are they supposed to say it?
Nah, like it's
nah.
What does that mean?
You need that nasal thing.
Like it's just like nah, like nah.
You need the nasal thing to show your disgust. Nah.
Okay, so let me ask you something. I'm pretty sure you have your taste in guys, right? So let's just say a guy. You said you're short. Let's just say a guy that's considerably shorter than you.
Yeah, that's happened before.
See that?
We eye level. He talking about, yo, can I get your number? I was just like, nah, I'm good.
you see how she spit out in that? Nah, I'm good. Nah. You all have this way of saying nah. It's just like try somebody else. It's like nah, nah.
Nah.
Nah. Don't even bother saying anything else. It's done. It's a wrap. There are no chances for you. Just nah.
Like I'll be polite. I'll be like, actually, no, thank you. But if I'm really just not feeling it, I'm just no, I'm good. Have a good day.
So it's sort of like if the person is being persistent now, then what would be the next level of the nah?
Hell to the no.
Now, thankfully, I have never had to actually go to the next level.
What would the next level be? Is the question.
It depends. It depends on the girl. So it depends on if the girl is, I would say, confident enough in her response so that she can, either whether it's cuss him out or yell at him or raise her voice without, like, I don't know if this is the same for all generations, but I guess our generation is hyper aware of guys who are violent towards women, especially if you tell them no. So if they're persistent, it kind of invokes a fear response at times where it's just like, okay, you a little crazy. So it really depends on the girl. Like it could depend on like where they from. Like if they from New York, they could go more hard than other people. They'd be like, yo, I said no. Like, what you talking about? What's the problem? We could go right here. Like, they'll get up in your face. But if
That's my daughter.
Like,
that's my daughter right there. You just embodied my daughter.
I had to
older one.
My friends just now.
Yeah, that was my daughter right there. Like, what's up? No, we can do. Yeah, that's my daughter right there.
Yeah, like they'll just it just depends on it depends on the girl. So the next level for like someone from New York or someone who's like not afraid to back down would be like, like I said no, like what's the problem? Like, do we have a problem? Like da. Other people, they might just be like, you know what, fine, either give a fake number or give their actual number, because now another thing is guys will test right in front of you to see if you gave them a fake number. They'll put it in the phone, press call. I've had that happen to me so many times.
That's a common thing.
So then once you walk away, that's when you block them. But there is always the chance that they will call you from another number, because that has happened to me before as well. I blocked this dude like twice, and then a random number will call, and I'll be like, "Hello, who is this? Why you block me? Oh my God! Well, how you got a new number? Is it?" So then I gotta block that one too. The only way that stopped is one day my boyfriend answered the phone. I'm looking, I'm like, "Who is this?" He's like, "I can answer for you." I'm like, "Okay, go ahead." He's like, "Hello." I'm like, okay, it's probably a sucker. he didn't call back again, so it's open.
So explain this thing with you all dropping letters from words.
So
you all do this. There's this stuff now. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Or I'm Gary goes to the store. Gary go to the store. Or I don't know. Or I'm finna do this. It's like the combination of words. There's actually a linguist on TikTok, and he also does YouTube videos. He's Black, he's African American, and he teaches like why things like this happen. And it's very interesting. Like originally, like the Southern accent happened because, of course, it is like a derivative of the British accent, just with like, I think we ended up we sped up the accent a little bit, I think. So then it's also just like, it just happens.
But if you don't fall into the millennials or generation Z, you actually need a daggone dictionary. So what would you suggest? I'm serious. I looked up
Urban Dictionary has been my best friend growing up. especially when I came back to the States in 7th grade. I quickly discovered there was a thing called UrbanDictionary.com. Every time I go, I don't know a word, I go on
say
there, I
that
figure it
again.
out.
UrbanDictionary.com.
UrbanDictionary.com.
No way.
Now, some of the answers are not accurate, and they might have been given by some white dudes who think they know what their black friends is saying, but they use it wrong. But majority of the things make sense. Majority of the things is accurate.
And Mo.
I heard Curtis say earlier.
Mo and Fo. Where the rest of those letters? Mo.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. So that's another thing. I thought you were saying a different thing when you said Mo. I didn't realize you were saying more. So another thing is, depending on where you're at, the same word could have different meanings. So Mo in like DC, DMV, maybe Baltimore. No, that's like dummy. That just mean like, yo Mo, like that, yo dude, like it's a guy, it's the dude, Mo, MOE. Mo.
Let's see if we can stump Shadi. I heard Curtis say earlier, an idle mind is the devil's playground. Do you know what that means?
I've heard that one from grandma before. It's
grandmother.
Yeah. Or I heard more so like idle hands. Is it idle hands is the devil's playground? I don't remember. But basically, do something productive, or else you're gonna do something destructive.
She got it right.
Yep. Do something productive, or you're gonna do something destructive.
All right. So I don't sound too old. You kind of get.
She said her grandmother. She heard it from her grandmother.
Oh gosh, so that's the kid. You put me way back over there again.
I think to me it's not old. If you had if you had another person my age, but who was just strictly American, that might be a different story. That might be like, that sounds old. But because I was raised in it, it's different to me, because just like it makes sense. I at least heard some form of it before.
But let me ask you this, Karin and Sam. Is it just rebellion within our people that make us bend and reshape language, the same language that was used to enslave us? After, a lot of our songs, at one time we used to say freedom songs. Some of the dances, even what we know as cultural cuisine, are all rooted in struggle, in our struggle as a people. And we use it as a form of
expression.
Escapism. Is that a word?
Expressionism. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that a word? Is it just rebellion that make us mash up the language the way we did?
I think it's a rite of passage for every generation to create their own language, music, art, and everything else that goes with it. I think it's a rite of passage. And if they don't, you look back 10, 15 years, like, I look back at the 80s like, what the hell was going on then? I hated most of the music. The fashion said nothing to me. All type of crazy colors and stuff. I'm keeping my language clean. I'm like, what did the 80s offer? The 90s came along. We got some beautiful music, great art, food.
80s, we had a
80s said nothing to me.
So I will answer and say that it has to do with evolution.
It's a generational evolution. Yes, right. Or
so
revolution.
It's not really a rebellion thing. It's like
it's literally how words progress. Yeah,
it started probably when the slave was learning to speak, so they were mixing it with different influences. So if it's English or Spanish or whatever, then it had and then now they put their own twist on it, and then now you have children, and then those children form so an accent, or there'll be an accent coming out of that whole thing. So, and even with music soca is a derivative of calypso, dancehall is a derivative of reggae, so it evolves over time. So I think what happens is each parent, whatever generation you pick, at some point would look at their kids or look at the next generation and be like, I don't even understand what.
But every generation needs to stake its own claim to all those different.
Well, right. Because my parents look at me like.
We did. The hippies that Curtis referred to earlier, they certainly did their thing. And then some.
Yeah, of course. So each generation had a chance to play with the language or to play with the songs, play with the dances. This is how we do the dance.
we have the expectation that we should understand 2 or 3 generations before and after us. We're lucky if we do, but I don't think that's a requirement. I don't think they're obligated to make us understand, because this is their time in their way.
So before we get out of here, I'd go at Shadi again on this one. And I'm pretty sure Sam and Karin, you all remember this one. We used to say, yo, that is off the chain.
I used to add another word with it, but anyway, go ahead.
No, then we used to say that it's off the hook, right? Shade, you have any understanding of any of those sayings?
Yeah, my dad says it. And also they used to say it in like TV and stuff, but they don't really say it like, oh, that's off the chain now.
What you all say? I know what you all say right now, but let you say it.
And can you well with that you
hold on. No. Where you gonna search? You're supposed to just know this.
Because it depends on who you ask. So some people say, I'm living. Some people say that's sickening. Some people say,
how was the party last night? How was the party last night? It was
lit.
Lit. That's the word.
There's a whole bunch of different words. It depends.
It was lit. Let me tell you something. Speaking to my daughters, I hear that word so many times. It was it was lit. It was lit.
I'm so tired of hearing the word lit in like 2015, 2016. I'm like, okay, when's this word gonna go away? It never went away.
We enter in 22 and everything now is lit. It was lit. It's gonna be lit.
Yep.
Lit is past tense, right? But how could you say it's gonna be lit?
Now if you want to say it present tense, it's gonna be this finna be jumping. You gotta say finna be jumping.
Finna be.
It's finna be jumping.
All right, so
where finna come from now? Finna?
What?
Finna.
Oh,
it's finna be jumping. It's gonna be jumping up
like
there.
It's fitting to be. It's going to be.
Yeah, I know. I know the word.
Finna be. No, Sam, just you had to break it down. It's finna be. It's finna.
Let me before we go. Let me just ask this question: where did Ebonics go?
It didn't go anywhere.
We didn't go anywhere. So we just call it AAVE now, African American Vernacular English. It's literally being recognized as its own language or its own dialect, to the point where they're doing studies on it. So one study just went viral from
Sam,
2005.
you all took away my closing. That was my closing remark. Ebonics, and what she talking about right now? That was my closing.
You keep the closing.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm probably moving in the spirit here.
No, that's because we didn't use the word all night, and that was what I was going to talk about. The Ebonics aspect.
Where did Ebonics go?
I think you're peeping at my notes. That was my closing argument, and you're going with it, and then you ask Shadi the question. I'm saying what I wanted to say. You know what? I done. Or they close out the show. I am.
Love that Trinity.
I done.
What do you know that?
I done. Now let go.
People, make sure you like the folks on YouTube, and hit the like and subscribe.
Like that.
Yeah, and because I'm only seeing 2 likes on YouTube, so people please like the episode. Thank you. And the chat was kind of a little bit quiet tonight, right? Right? We normally have a little bubbling, people jumping in and bubbling. What's wrong with the chat tonight?
They're afraid to identify which group that they're from.
That was not a requirement.
I think that's
a requirement. They're doing. They're lurking.
I think that's what it is. Trinity girls say good night. Good night. Good night to you.
I don't the chat was they need coffee or something over there.
Nah, they just lurking. They lurking, trying to see. They don't want to come. They just lurking. Just.
Where Dr. Judith? No Dr. Judith tonight? Is what going on here?
Where's she at?
Is no Wally asking that when the show done?
I'm serious, right?
No,
that's hilarious.
Wally, I say I done and Wally close out the show. Me and nothing else. I say I done.
Okay, I'll start the closing since you've excused yourself.
No, you finish the closing. All right, let me we're gonna reverse the order tonight. Generally, I would close things off. I'm gonna start tonight. interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation. You know, as Sam talked about the Ebonics, we may not agree with it, but however you choose to call it, whether it's Ebonics or that African American laddie daddy daddy da vernacular, or whether it's street vernacular, as you want to call it, change is a constant thing. It's going to happen whether you want to or not.
Absolutely.
And regardless of how much schooling an individual may have, I seem to think that there is an official language when it comes to Black culture. And that language, it doesn't stay constant throughout times. It changes, as Sam stated, as the music. We went from the blues to the jazz to whatever came after jazz, to the funk, to
disco.
Even before disco, it had rock and roll, and we had Frankie, okay, whatever thing when they used to do wop, that do wop era. So we've seen music change a long time, and with the music, so did the fashion. Throughout time, the food has changed, and we cannot expect language to remain the same. So the constant changing of that language is part of our culture. From generation to generation, that language will change. And it's like the computer era, whether you want to accept it or not, it's going to be there. So you could choose to at least cock your ears and try and understand a little bit of what's going on, or your children are going to be sitting in the same room talking about your old behind, and you have no idea what they're talking about. So at least cock your ears and try to catch a little bit about what they're saying. And if you don't know, like the old saying goes, ask somebody. Because I saw this one on social media also. This woman asked her daughter, what does IDK stand for? And the daughter said, I don't know. And she said, oh my goodness. Everybody I ask keep telling me the same thing, they don't know. She called the son. She said, honey, I'm trying to talk to your sister and she's not helping me. What does IDK TTYL stand for? The son said, I don't know, talk to you later, and he hung up. The mother was like, oh gosh, these kids don't want to tell me anything. You better get in line, get in gear. IDK, Sade, explain that for them, please.
I don't know. That's what it means.
TTYL?
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. So when
you don't use TTYL anymore.
Oh, see? All right, look at that. That's done. All right.
TTYL is done?
It's done. We don't use that anymore. We don't even use all those emojis anymore. We keep it simple. Though I would say, like, usually either little kids or older people who really got into emojis, they use like a million emojis. We don't really use a million emojis anymore. We keep it simple.
All right. So, Sade, I'm gonna let you take it over here. People just keep up with the times, otherwise you won't get left behind. That's all I have to say. I done. Sade.
All right. I will agree off of your points, your many points. The language is ever changing. Like I was gonna say earlier, there was a study back in 2005 done where there was a picture. It was a group of 5-year-olds. They were separated white from black. There's a picture of Cookie Monster sleeping in the bed, right? And next to Cookie Monster on the side of the bed is Elmo eating a cookie. They asked the kids, who is eating a cookie? And everybody pointed to Elmo. They asked the kids, who be eating cookies? The white kids pointed to Elmo. The black kids pointed to Cookie Monster. Because the black kids knew there was a difference between who be and who is. Like it's an actual, like, there's unspoken structure to the language that we just don't really know how to explain, but it happens. It's an actual study that happened.
Wow, that's a good one.
He pointed to Cookie Monster. The white kids still thought it was Elmo. So, like, it's a thing. And I don't know about why it changed or evolved so much in earlier generations, but I know now for my generations, both Millennial and Gen Z, that it's changing as much as it is because it's becoming into the mainstream. And someone on social media brought up a really good point about this, because the mainstream is more so like everybody's using it, all races, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. that we can't have anything to ourselves because people will pick up on it and they will start using it, and B, we use it as a language. White people use it for comedy, like how everybody's saying yes, yes, queen, slay queen. We used to say that in just regular talk, like just that was just our language. Now we don't use it anymore because everybody uses it as a joke. It's like it's like the butt of the joke basically. But they think that they so like, I'm so trendy and so hip and so cool. So now we come up with new phrases and new words quickly so that we can keep our stuff in a bubble. At least we try to. We try to keep it exclusive.
So once other ethnicities start using it, then it's a wrap.
It's done. It's a wrap. It's chalked. It's over. Like how everybody is using a whole bunch of New York slang. In Korea and in Asia, hip hop culture is huge. And there's a Korean hip hop artist, and this one girl, she is half Black, half Filipino, and she was on the set, and she was asking the director, who was also Korean. She was like, "Why is he wearing a do-rag? Dude is Korean. Why is he wearing a do-rag?" And he's just like, "It's hip hop." They don't understand, they don't understand the actual use for it. He's like, "It's hip hop." They don't understand the actual gravity of what our language and what our culture is. They just see it as cool, mainstream, or hip hop. That's what it boils down to. So that's why our stuff is changing as quickly as it is, to keep it in the family. So we can try and have our own thing until they take it over again somehow.
Okay.
Passing on to whoever's next. I don't know who's next.
The guy above here.
Yeah. So this was real cool. So my daughter sent me a few here that I thought was really interesting. So tea is gossip.
Mm-hmm. You got the tea. That's another thing that people are overusing now too. But yes,
we're using the tea.
Got the tea. I got the tea and it's piping hot. Got some good gossip.
Ghost meant that you disappeared.
Yep, to ghost people.
You
They
were-
ghosted
I'm
you,
familiar with
or I
that.
ghosted them. I have ghosted people a lot. Before my boyfriend, I was a terrible dater. I would just ghost, just without a word, not text back.
And sus is suspicious.
Yes, you acting real sus.
So that's I can sus. So we said, but that's suspect, right? We used to say.
Yeah, it could be like that's suspect. It could be like that. Yeah.
Okay. The last one, I think I know where it came from, right? But stan, as in STAN,
Mm-hmm.
and the definition for that is super fan. So I don't know if Karin and Curtis is gonna get that one.
Y'all gonna pick up on it?
This is from M's song, right? He had a song called Stan, and Stan was the one who wrote him the letter, and
Mm-hmm.
but he was a super fan. I don't know if you know Eminem had a song like that. So because he's super fan, he's just okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
You guys are interesting.
Yeah. There's a whole lot. There's a whole. I have literally a whole list here of more.
So we might have to do a part 2 in a couple of weeks then. But yes, things do change, and some things remain the same. So that is my Karin, you spoke already? Or?
No, Karin closing out the show.
Okay, so all right, so Karin's closing.
Okay. I feel really fortunate to be part of the Generation X population. I'm able to have a conversation about the phonograph, the gramophone, 8-track tapes, 8mm film, LPs, cassettes, 45s, CDs, rotary phones, black and white movies. I am flexible and thrilled to see the changes with like computers and cell phones and all of that. I've seen NASA and their astronauts take different flights. Privately funded organizations taking short-lived flights outside the Earth's atmosphere. And I embrace it all. That's it.
Okay.
So we out of here.
We are definitely out of here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so, along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chat? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chat. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chat.